Hi, I'm Rick. Welcome to Elbow Shots. Today we're going to update the countertops in a camping trailer. We have two countertops and a removable tabletop. First, we're going to remove the plastic trim off the back. I've dealt with this stuff before, but let's test this end here. Yeah, we're going to have to cut it off because it was stapled onto the back edge before the top was installed. It's an instant trim that's used in RVs and mobile homes. The fresh paint is glued to the wall, so I'll have to relieve that first. Now from this angle, you can see that I'm cutting the trim off of the flange that attaches it to the countertop. It's a soft material that conforms to the wall. It makes for a quick install of the tops. Now, I'm not sure how this self edge is attached, so I'll just start by picking at it a little to see if it wants to cooperate. Okay, it's coming out fairly easily. It's basically a T-molding pressed into a slot cut in the edge, so it just pulls right out. Now I'm going to install a teak edge. This teak is just some scraps from the cabinet shop at a local boatyard. The biggest challenge is to maintain the curved edges of these countertops. There usually isn't much room to move around in RVs, so minimizing the sharp corners is a good thing. Raw wood can be bent with steam, clamping, and time, but that process takes days. This job should only take a few hours. It's a camp trailer, so it's not worth that kind of time investment. Instead, I'm going to nail on straight pieces of raw teak and grind them into a curved shape. We don't have much clearance from the corner of the cabinet. So let's see what happens when we take a speed square placed where the radius begins and mark it. Then we'll split that at the intersection. The most efficient way for me to cut these off is with a hacksaw. With that 1/4 inch slot cut into the deck, all I have to contend with is about a 1/4 inch thick on top and below. Once I get those cut off, I can clean that up with a file. When installing trim, I like to cut my longest pieces first. So if I miscut something, I can cut that into shorter lengths and recut the long one. If you aren't going to get a second chance, if you only have one long piece, you can test your angles with scrap pieces. I first cut the ends of my teak at 11 1/4 degrees, half of 22 1/2. Well, that didn't work. It isn't a true octagon. It worked for the outer miters, but the center miter had to be 22 1/2. So I made adjustments. We learn more from our mistakes than we do our successes. Success comes from learning what doesn't work as much as it does from learning what does work. Having dry fit my pieces, I'm going to use a heavy-bodied polyurethane adhesive to fill the gap and bond the teak edge. I'm using 18 gauge 1 1/4" finish nails, spaced at about 6 inches apart to hold it in place. After installing all of the edge pieces and sanding the top edge flush to the decks with a belt sander, I'm ready to start shaping the curve. You can get the job done with a belt sander. It takes a little bit of time and you want to make sure you stay perpendicular to the deck. I prefer to use a variable speed angle grinder with a Velcro disc sanding attachment. The high speed is not for sanding though, it's too fast. It'll tear up your paper and send things flying everywhere. The lowest speed is all it takes to make short work of this task. And then you can blend the bottom edges with a file. I use a drywall sanding block with some 60 grit paper to blend the straightaway into the curve. Then I'll do the same procedure with the tabletop. Now we're ready to cut the laminate. All we need are decks, so that makes it easy. Let's get some measurements. Our tabletop is 49 inches long and 32 inches wide. Our small countertop is 28 3/4 inches long and 12 inches deep. And then the bigger countertop is 60 inches long and 24 3/8 wide. We have a 4x8 sheet, which is actually 49 by 97. I'm cutting on top of exposed aggregate, which I do not recommend. I have cut on soft surfaces many times, but often I punch through the laminate with my score awl. It's best to have a clean, smooth surface to cut on. In the past, I've placed a thin board or some plywood underneath my cut when cutting on rough or soft surfaces, which includes carpet. Our cut-up sheet looks like this, but we only need these 3 pieces. Small holes like the ones for pipes are difficult to feel through the laminate, so I locate them with a speed square. Place it against the wall, make a mark on the wall, and write the measurement next to the hash mark. This is 3 inches from the wall. Then I can easily transfer the marks to the glued down laminate. Locating the back left corner of the sink hole, I use a large screwdriver to punch a pilot hole for my router. Punching down like this folds pieces down against the wall of the hole, keeping the router bit from cutting flush. So you have to clear those out and retrim, so your pipes or faucet will fit through. And cut out the sink and cooktop holes. With our decks installed and trimmed off, we can make sure our curves are as smooth as they can be before we cut our chamfered edge. The contrast at the edge gives us a nice sharp line that makes it easy to check. Remember, whatever the shape of the edge, the router will duplicate in our decorative edge. So if there's a bump in the road, the bump will also be in the decorative line above. As below, so above. It is much easier to clean this up now. It only takes a few seconds. There are a few different bits you can use to shape the edge, but a chamfer cut with a 45-degree wing bit is my preference. It provides a soft corner that's easy to work with as an installer and easy to maintain from a housekeeping standpoint. The limited space in RVs doesn't allow for much clearance sometimes, so it can stimulate your creative processes to come up with solutions, which keeps it interesting and fun. In this case, I'm going to remove the thermostat housing and use the tip of my file in a non-standard way. Once I get it looking like the rest, I can snap the housing back in place. Over here on this corner, the door casing doesn't give me much room for filing, so I use my knife to cut the majority of the bulk. That way I can finish it with a little filing. After you get the edge shaped, you can flip the file over and polish it with the fine side. The removable tabletop is finished the same way. I just set it up on the countertop to work on it. After the job is complete, you can rub something like Old English lemon oil on the teak to protect it. Now we have an elegant finish on an old trailer. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me to produce more of these videos.